Welcome to It's Not Just Menopause, the podcast that empowers you to navigate midlife with confidence through real talk, root cause insights, and no BS strategies that actually work. If you're dealing with fatigue, stubborn weight, brain fog, or just feeling off and overlooked, this show is for you. Discover what's really going on with your hormones and why it's not just about estrogen. Each episode breaks down what your doctor didn't explain, the internet got wrong, and what your body's been trying to tell you all along. From stress and metabolism to nervous system support and functional nutrition, we'll cover the tools that help you feel more like yourself, again, without restrictive diets, overwhelming plans, or hormone hype. I'm your host, Cindi Stickle, functional nutrition practitioner and certified menopause specialist. I'm here to guide you through the midlife noise so you can stop guessing, get the clarity you deserve, and finally take back control of your health. If you've ever felt dismissed, overwhelmed, or like your body just isn't responding the way it used to, you're in the right place. Let's rewrite the menopause story without the fluff. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of It's Not Just Menopause. Again, I'm Cindi Stickle, certified functional nutritionist and menopause specialist. And I'm happy that you're here today. And before we dive in, I just wanted to say that if you are someone who has been dealing with hot flashes for a while now, whether they're happening a few times a week or seems like every hour on the hour, I want you to know that today's episode is especially for you. Not because I'm going to hand you a list of supplements to try or tell you to avoid red wine and spicy food. You've probably already been down that road, right? So today we're going to talk about what hot flashes actually are, what your body is really doing when they happen, and why the way most women have been taught to think about them as something to manage, suppress, or just endure is keeping them stuck in a cycle that never actually ends. So I'm just going to, help you understand about hot flashes. And hopefully with what I share with you today, you will never look at a hot flash the same way again. Okay, so I want you to think about the last time that it happened, a hot flash, okay? Maybe you were in a meeting, sitting at a conference table, trying to be present, trying to look put together, and then out of nowhere, the heat just hit. Your face, your neck, your chest, that unmistakable wave of warmth that turns into a full-on furnace in about 30 seconds flat. And you're sitting there trying to casually fan yourself with a folder, hoping nobody notices that you're now sweating through your blazer, okay? Or maybe it was at dinner. You're out with people you care about, trying to have a normal evening, and suddenly you're stripping off your cardigan and pressing a cold glass of water to your wrist under the table like it's your job. Or, this one might be more, the most frustrating of all, you are finally asleep, actually asleep, and then you woke up drenched, heart pounding, throwing off the covers, standing in front of the open refrigerator at 2 a.m. just trying to cool down. And now you're wide awake again. Okay. One woman I spoke with told me she'd stand at the bathroom mirror to do her makeup in the morning, and she'd start sweating before she even finished her foundation. Okay. She said, and I loved how she put this, it's not that hot in this bathroom, people, right? Okay. That line has stuck with me because that's exactly what it feels like, right? Like your body is reacting to a temperature that nobody else can feel. Like there's something happening internally that has nothing to do with the actual room you're standing in. And you'd be right because there is. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Okay. And I need to talk about this with you to help you. So let's start with what you've probably already heard about hot flashes because I want to name it before I reframe it to help you. So the standard advice goes something like this. Dress in layers. Keep a fan on your nightstand. Avoid triggers like caffeine and alcohol and spicy food. Maybe try some black cohosh. And if it's bad enough, talk to your doctor about hormone therapy. And here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you that all of that is wrong because some of it has its place. Hormone therapy in particular is legitimate and effective tool for many women. I've talked about it on this podcast. I take bioidentical hormones, okay? The dressing in layers thing, it's practically helpful And I'm not here to dismiss the practical stuff at all. But what I am here to do is point out what's missing from that conversation, because all of that advice is focused on one thing: managing the symptom, cooling down faster, reducing the discomfort, getting through it. And nobody, or very few people, is asking the more important question: why is this happening at the intensity and frequency that it is? Before we get back to today's episode, I've got a quick question for you. Feel like your body's in chaos, but your labs are normal? You're not crazy, you're not broken, and you're definitely not alone. If you've been told it's just menopause or to wait it out, it's time for real answers. Take my free quiz, What's Really Driving Your Menopause Symptoms. In under 2 minutes, you'll uncover your top hidden stressor and get my free guide, The Menopause Stress Fix, sent straight to your inbox. Head to cindystickle.com/quiz or click the link in the show notes. If you're doing everything right but still feel like a mess, this quiz is your next step. All right, let's get back to today's episode. What is your body actually trying to communicate? Because remember, all your symptoms is your body screaming at you that there's something else going on. We already know you're in perimenopause, but there's something that more deep down that's making them that bad. Okay? And that question, what is your body actually trying to communicate? It changes everything. And that's the one we're going to answer today. Okay, so here's what I want you to understand about hot flashes. They are not random. They are just a menopause rite of passage, unfortunately, that you have no control over. But they are a signal, a very specific, very intentional signal from your body's stress response system. Okay, so let me explain what I mean. Your hypothalamus, that's the part of your brain that regulates body temperature, among many other things, is extraordinarily sensitive to estrogen. And in perimenopause, estrogen levels are fluctuating, right? Until you lose it completely in menopause, right? And sometimes it's dramatically fluctuating. Sometimes day to day, you just don't know. So when estrogen drops, your hypothalamus essentially loses some of its calibration. It becomes hypersensitive to even small changes in body temperature. It has a much narrower thermoneutral zone. That's the range where it's comfortable. So when your temperature strays even slightly out of that range, your hypothalamus fires off a response to cool you down. That response is a hot flash. Now, here's where it gets really important, and this is the piece that most people are not talking about. But I'll talk about it, right? Your stress response system and your thermoregulatory system are deeply connected. When cortisol is elevated, it is chronically for most women in perimenopause because of the load we're carrying, right? The stress of hidden stress, especially. Your hypothalamus is already on high alert. It's already running hot, so to speak. So it takes a lot less to set it off. It's more sensitive, more reactive, and more likely to fire. And blood sugar plays a huge role here too. So when your blood sugar spikes and then crashes, which happens when you skip meals, please don't do that. Go too long without eating, eat carbs without protein, or rely on caffeine to get through the morning. Please don't do that either without protein. Your body registers that crash as a stressor. It releases cortisol in response. Cortisol activates your stress response. So your already sensitized hypothalamus picks up that signal and a hot flash happens. So that 2 a.m. hot flash that woke you up, there's a good chance your blood sugar crashed. Your body released cortisol, and your hypothalamus, which was already primed and reactive, fired off a response. That hot flash you had in the middle of a stressful phone call, cortisol spike. The one that happened right after you skipped lunch because you were too busy, blood sugar crash leading to cortisol, which led to the hot flash. Okay, so your body is not malfunctioning, it is responding. It is communicating. When you start to see it in this way, you stop feeling like a victim of your own physiology, and you start feeling like someone who actually has information that you can work with. Okay, so here's my issue with only focusing on managing hot flashes, and I want you to really be, I want to really be clear about this because this is really important. When you only try to manage the symptom, cool down faster, layer clothing, avoid triggers, you never actually address what's creating the conditions for the hot flash to happen in the first place. It's like putting a fan in front of a fire alarm and feeling proud that you can't hear it anymore. The alarm isn't going off because it's broken. It's going off because there's smoke. And if you never find the smoke, the alarm keeps going off. The cooling towel helps in the moment. The fan by your bed helps in the moment. The layer you can strip off when you're in a meeting, helpful, yes. But if cortisol is still chronically elevated, if your blood sugar is still swinging all over the place, if your nervous system has been running on overdrive for so long it doesn't know what calm feels like anymore, the hot flashes are going to keep coming because the conditions that create them have not changed. And here's what makes that so exhausting. Women in perimenopause are often some of the most conscientious, hardest working, most determined people, women I've ever met. They are doing everything they've been told to do. They're sleeping more. They're avoiding obvious triggers. They've cut out alcohol, added magnesium, downloaded a symptom tracking app. And they're still sweating through their sheets at 3 a.m., still having to excuse themselves from meetings, still planning their outfits around layers they can remove quickly. Not because they're not trying hard enough, right? Because they're trying to put out the symptom instead of finding the source. Remember, we got to find that smoke, what's causing it. So your body is not attacking you. It's asking for something. And the question worth spending your energy on is, what is it asking for? So what does it actually look like to approach hot flashes from this angle? What does it mean to listen to that signal instead of suppress it? Okay, again, blood sugar, it starts there. This is a non-negotiable and honestly one of the biggest levers you can pull. Eating enough protein at every meal, not just a little, but enough, at least 30 grams of protein every meal. Not skipping meals, because when you skip meals, your body goes into fight or flight thinking it's not getting any food for a long time, and it holds on to your body fat and everything else and makes it worse. Okay, not going more than 4 or 5 hours without eating something substantial. Not relying on a cup of coffee and willpower to get you to noon. If you've listened to me at all, you know that the first thing I will tell you is stop drinking caffeine on an empty stomach because your cortisol is already high in the morning like it's supposed to be, but you're adding a stimulant on top of it and it makes it worse. So you need to make sure you have protein first, then coffee. So I still drink coffee, but I just changed the order of how I drink it. And when your blood sugar is stable, your body doesn't have to send out cortisol SOS signals every time it dips, okay? And when cortisol is lower, your hypothalamus is less reactive, fewer triggers, less intense responses. And women often tell me that when they get serious about eating consistently, especially in the morning, protein first, their hot flashes shift noticeably within a couple of weeks. Not gone necessarily, but calmer, less frequent, less intense. Okay. And the second piece is your stress load. And I don't just mean the obvious stressors. Again, if you've listened to me for any length of time, you know what I'm talking about. Like the job, relationship, mental load of managing everything. Those are normal. We already know about those. I mean the physiological stressors too. The ones that fly under the radar because they feel like healthy choices. Over-exercising is a stressor, especially from perimenopause on up. Intense cardio, oh my gosh. Especially without enough recovery. But no, you shouldn't even be doing intense cardio anymore. Our bodies react to stress so much harder in perimenopause and menopause that it keeps it in fight or flight again, because your body gets stressed every time you exercise, no matter what. And if you're always doing that intense cardio, your body's just like, I give up, right? Okay. Spikes of cortisol. Okay. Under eating is a stressor. How many of you have had 1,200 calories for decades? Oh my gosh, you have ruined your metabolism up to this point, okay? Chronic poor sleep is a stressor. Trying to push through exhaustion day after day is a stressor. These are all inputs into the same system. And when that system is overloaded, it reacts. And hot flashes are one of the ways that it reacts. The third piece is your nervous system. And I know that can sound a little vague, so let me make it a little more concrete for you. Okay, what I mean is giving your body consistent, reliable signals that it is not in danger. When it's in fight or flight, it thinks it's in danger, and so that's why it holds on to the body fat. It doesn't digest food well, all the stuff, right? It shuts down other systems because it thinks you have to run from that lion from thousands of years ago. So everything is focused on your hands and legs. Okay, your arms and legs. All right. So your body's not performing safely with the nervous system, right? It's actually creating it through consistent sleep, through eating before you're desperate, through slowing down in ways that feel counterintuitive when you're used to running at 100 miles per hour. Oh my gosh, rest is so important in perimenopause to menopause, and it's not a reward. Please stop telling yourself that you will rest after you've already almost given yourself a heart attack. Don't do that, okay? So through these practices that actually activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the calm, rest and digest state, instead of just collapsing into exhaustion at the end of the day. When those things start to lift, and it doesn't have to happen all at once. It can happen one piece at a time, okay? When it's not all or nothing, it's all or something. The hot flashes tend to shift too. Not always disappear completely, because especially if your estrogen is significantly low and hormone therapy, you might need that, but the intensity will decrease. The frequency will decrease. And maybe more importantly, you stop feeling blindsided by them because you start to understand what they're connected to, okay? And that is a completely different experience than white-knuckling your way through every wave of heat and counting down the days until you're officially through menopause and wondering when this will just be over, okay? So here's what I want you to leave today with, because I gave you a lot of information, okay? Hot flashes are not a character flaw. They are not a punishment. They are not something you just have to survive because you're a woman of a certain age and this is what getting older feels like now. They are a message from a body that is carrying a significant load, responding to real physiological inputs and trying to get your attention. Okay, so when you stop trying to silence the message, okay, which when you start actually reading it, this is when everything changes, right? That is when you stop managing your symptoms and start actually moving the needle on what's creating them. And that's exactly what I do in my work, okay? That's what my signature system, the program that I built myself, it's not just hormones, is built around that. Not suppressing symptoms, but actually addressing the conditions that are creating them, starting with the nervous system and blood sugar and building from there. All right. So if this episode resonated with you and you want to talk more about it, I'd love to connect with you, and you can book a menopause hormone clarity call. The link will be in the show notes. Okay. I also will have my link for my perimenopause morning reset, which will help you get started with your nervous system in the mornings the right way. Okay. And please share this with somebody that you know needs to hear this. All right. Send it to a friend, a sister, a coworker who keeps a fan on her desk and doesn't know why she still feels out of control. Okay. It might be the most useful thing she hears this week. All right. So, and please, 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 I'd love it if you left a review. Not that I want to get, like a million reviews, but it's the algorithm for podcasts. So the more reviews that are left, the more they push it out to people that need to hear it. So more women will see it. Okay. But thank you for listening, and I will be in your headphones next week. Thank you for tuning into It's Not Just Menopause. I hope today's episode gave you real clarity about what's actually going on in your body and reminded you that it's not just your hormones and it's definitely not your fault. If you found value in this conversation, make sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Cindi Stickle Nutrition, or head to cindystickle.com for more resources and personalized support on your menopause and midlife health journey. Until next time, keep questioning what you've been told and trust that your body is not broken. You just need the truth and the tools that actually work.